Morant lobs and a finish by Edey. Jokic still scoreless. Bane, a crossover, a three, it's through!
On the penultimate day of the regular season, everything went off the rails. From Denver's clutch heroics to Sacramento's wild meltdown. From Luka's wizardry to Garland's solo act in MSG. This was a night where playoff dreams either took flight or got crushed into dust. Let's start in the Mile High City, where the Nuggets hosted the Grizzlies in what turned out to be the most meaningful game of the night. Both teams were under pressure, Denver trying to lock in home court, Memphis desperately clinging to playoff hopes. Early on, it was Ja Morant and Desmond Bane who set the tone, coming out like they had something to prove. Their aggressiveness paid off, helping Memphis build a 15-point lead in the second quarter. For a moment, it looked like the Nuggets might get blown out on their own floor. But then came the third quarter, and with it, Aaron Gordon. AG turned into a one-man flamethrower. He couldn't miss, racking up 16 of his 33 points in just that period alone, and the crazy part is, he barely had to work for them.
Sidesteps his man, behind the back to Gordon! Sensational! Gordon underneath! And Gordon playing like a man possessed.
Jokic and Jamal Murray were slicing up Memphis's defense with surgical precision, feeding Gordon lob after lob, dime after dime. The chemistry between those three in the open floor was ridiculous. And just like that, the deficit evaporated. Heading into the fourth, we had ourselves a ball game. And when it's crunch time in Denver, you know what's coming. Nikola Jokic and Jamal Murray shift into two-man game mode, a basketball dance choreographed to perfection. It's patient, it's methodical, it's practically unguardable. On one possession, Murray pulls up from mid-range. Next possession, Jokic drops a bounce pass between two defenders like he's throwing a frisbee into a mailbox. Then, after Ja Morant missed what would have been a go-ahead layup, Jokic grabbed the rebound, pushed the ball up the floor like a point guard, and buried the dagger in transition. Classic Jokic. Another casual 26 points, 16 rebounds, and 13 assists for the three-time MVP. But this one meant even more, because with that, Nikola officially became the first center in NBA history to average a triple-double over an entire season. Only the third player to ever do it, alongside Oscar Robertson and Russell Westbrook, his beloved teammate. Jokic even cracked some rare jokes in the postgame, grinning through the press conference like a kid who just aced a test he didn't study for. But Denver wasn't laughing. They were locked in. With the win, they now control their own fate. Beat the Rockets on Sunday, and they secure the fourth seed and home court in the first round. As for Memphis, that loss drops them into the play-in, and now they'll have to scratch and claw just to get back into the playoff picture. While that drama was unfolding, chaos erupted in Sacramento. The Kings were looking to clinch the 9th seed and avoid a tougher play-in matchup, while the Clippers were still fighting to lock in a guaranteed playoff berth. Things looked smooth for LA. They held a 9-point lead with less than 3 minutes left in the fourth quarter. Everything pointed toward a safe, controlled finish. And then, Zach LaVine happened. Back-to-back threes, and suddenly the lead was just 3. DeMar DeRozan followed that with a textbook mid-range pull-up that made the home crowd erupt. The Kings were storming back. Clippers called time, regrouped, and needed one clean possession to put the game away. But what followed can only be described as comedy. On one sequence, LA missed 4 straight shots, but somehow secured 4 straight offensive rebounds. The Kings just completely forgot how to box out. It was like every rebound fell directly into Clippers' hands, and Sacramento couldn't catch a break. Eventually, they were forced to foul, and James Harden went to the line. He split the pair, giving the Kings one last shot. Then, Harden makes another questionable decision, fouling LaVine at the three-point line to prevent a potential game-tying shot. LaVine stepped to the line, ice in his veins, and calmly knocked down both free throws with 4 seconds left. Clippers up by 1. All they had to do now was inbound the ball. Easy, right? Wrong. Keegan Murray read the play like a book, jumped the passing lane, stole the ball, and immediately called timeout with 2 seconds on the clock. The crowd was losing it. Could the Kings pull off the stunner? Out of the timeout, the ball went to DeRozan, but the Clippers sent Zubac and Chris Dunn at him, closing every angle. He hesitated, searched for space, but the window never opened. Clock expired. Clippers survive. That one makes it 7 straight for LA, and now they'll visit the Warriors on the final day of the season. If they beat Golden State, and if Minnesota takes care of business against the Jazz, the Clippers will land in the 5th spot. But if they lose, they're staring at the play-in tournament, and nobody wants that smoke. Meanwhile, in LA, the Lakers were hunting the 3rd seed. All they needed was one win in their final 2 games. And with the Rockets sitting 4 starters, the purple and gold weren't about to let this one slip. From the opening tip, Luka and LeBron were locked in. LeBron caught a beautiful lob for a one-handed hammer. and even Luka had to stop and laugh. The man looked 25 again. Then Luka took over. The dude was straight balling. He dropped 39 points, 8 rebounds, and 7 assists on a ridiculous 68% shooting in just 3 quarters. He was having so much fun. He even tried to throw down a massive dunk after the whistle. It didn't count, but it got the whole bench hyped. The Lakers blew the game open by the second half. The only scary moment came when LeBron appeared to tweak his groin and left the court briefly. But minutes later, he was seen laughing and celebrating on the bench with Austin Reeves, who also exited early. So all signs point to LeBron being okay. With that win, the Lakers secured the 3rd seed and their first 50-win season since their 2020 bubble title run. Even better, they now get 10 full days to rest and recover before the playoffs begin. Luka and LeBron looked ready for war. But while LA was celebrating, things were unraveling, and Madison Square Garden hosted a showdown between the Knicks and the Cavs, and the Knicks had a chip on their shoulder. They hadn't beaten a top 3 team all season, and with Cleveland missing Donovan Mitchell, DeAndre Hunter, and Ty Jerome, it finally felt like the streak was ending. New York came out flying, building a 23-point lead in the second quarter. The Garden was buzzing. It was all clicking, until it wasn't. Garland started cooking. A quick layup, then a skip pass to Tyson for a corner 3. Suddenly the Cavs were within 8. Then it was Max Struss with a crafty up and under off the glass. Cleveland cut the lead to single digits heading into the 4th. And when the lights got bright, Garland turned into a closer. Layup, floater, pull-up 3. Just cold-blooded buckets. The Cavs took their first lead since the opening minutes. But Jalen Brunson had answers. Baseline pull-up money. Then another fadeaway in traffic. Bucket. Tie game again. But Garland was relentless. Another drive, another finish through contact. On the other end, Brunson tried to keep the Knicks alive with a floater, but it rolled off the rim. That was the ball game. Cleveland iced it at the line, snapping the Knicks' hopes for a statement win. Still, New York enters the playoffs as the 3rd seed and will face the Pistons in round 1. And speaking of Detroit, let's end with some comedy. The Pistons played the Bucks, and with the game mostly out of reach, we got a moment of pure NBA entertainment. Giannis hit a little shimmy move, and B bumped him with a shoulder on the way back. Giannis responded with a hilarious dance, just goofing off mid-possession. B was not amused, but fans were dying. Classic Giannis. But don't let the silliness fool you. He still dropped a 30-point triple-double in the win. And now, Milwaukee is heading into a round 1 rematch with the Indiana Pacers, the same team that sent them packing last year. This time, Giannis is healthy, Dame is rested, and the Bucks are out for revenge. Let me know in the comments who you got in that series. Bucks or Pacers? Garland or Brunson? Will the Clippers finish 5th or fall into the chaos of the play-in? And don't forget, check my last video if you missed the night where the NBA turned into a full-on battlefield. We've got 1 more day left before the playoff bracket is locked in, and I promise it's going to be wild. As the dust settles, we're left with nothing but anticipation for the final day of the season. The playoff picture is clearer, but the stakes couldn't be higher. Every team now faces a defining moment that could make or break their postseason hopes. With the chaos of the last night still fresh in our minds, there's no telling what twists and turns are in store. One thing's for sure, the real battle is just beginning. Catch y'all in the next one. Peace out.